Well, hey everybody. Guess what's up? I've got my Switch 2 and I'm playing some games. In this case, Hogwarts Legacy. That's right. This is actually running on a Switch 2, and as you can see here, it's just incredibly well designed. There's like impressive lighting effects, there's all kinds of stuff. You can see all the characters coming in. There's it's just incredible. This is stuff I only really saw in a sense when I was playing stuff like a PS5 and stuff. That's how good these lighting effects are. It's kind of shocking. We then get into our menu right here. You can see it's actually pretty good. Here's my Joy-Con coming off. I love the fact that it's actually very good. And you can actually feel the HD rumble or haptic feedback, Nintendo's version of it. It's actually pretty well. You can also see the AR reader right there when it's in mouse mode. It's pretty cool. The buttons are also really nice. And I just love the fact that it just clicks back in. There's an actual audible click, and then you also saw the effect when you do that. And I know in my case, I'm probably going to need to keep these guys right here, which are the little bumper things you put on the Joy-Cons when you're using them like that, or you want to keep them handy and stuff, or really just protect the controller in mouse mode. It's just an overall good experience. Now, what do I think of the system? It's actually working very well. I'm very impressed. It has a lot of life. I do actually have both as you can see here, a Pro controller and another set of Joy-Cons here. Now, the reason for that is that every week I basically replace them, take these ones out, and put the secondary sets in so I can try to avoid the controller drift. It's a smart move if you have the money to do it. And unfortunately, not many of us are going to have the money to do that. Now, the Switch One, Nintendo actually did something smart here. Let's say this one, your red, orange, whatever the heck color you want to call it, because people have been saying it's red, some people have been saying it's orange. I get the point. But what if this one's the one that goes bad? What if the drift is crazy or can't even charge? And you have to literally just like chuck it. Problem. Nintendo actually sells either a pair of these things together or the Joy-Cons individually. You can buy this one, you can buy that one individually to replace an old or dead one. Which, um, with those old Joy-Cons, that would have been nice because you have to keep buying them as a package deal. So there's that. That kind of sucks. Um, just saying. Um, it helps. Plus, because I have these two right here, I have the Pro controller, and I have two more back there. We can technically have like 3 or 4 players on my system for multiplayer games like Mario Kart and stuff. So I have that set, and I can see why that's going to be a problem. And we'll get into a couple of the issues the system is going to face, both right now and later in a minute. Um, there's also just the sheer power here. Now I know people are like, "It's a PS4," or they're literally going, "It's like a Series S." The truth is, it goes into both directions. It depends on the game too. In Hogwarts' case, I can say with confidence that it's basically it. It's in the total span of those two games. There are times it feels like I'm playing this game um, on the Series S or even my PS5. I literally forgot that I was playing it on a Switch because I was so engrossed in starting the missions until I looked over and I realized, like, oh God, I'm playing it on a Switch too, especially with my Switch One's performance. But to be fair, even the Switch One plays pretty nice for what it does. It's just not the nicest version. And I don't have a physical copy anymore to test the Switch One version on this. Also, if you do have the Switch One version of Hogwarts here, either physically or digitally, to your profile, you can actually buy this version for $10. So that's something to remember. So that's pretty cool. Another game I got actually for free because I own the physical copy of said game is No Man's Sky. I got a free upgrade to the PS2. I mean, the PS2. It's going to be hard separating that, the Switch 2 version and that. So it's pretty cool. As for the feeling and stuff, it's pretty cool. It works very well. It has plenty of features and stuff. And remember that this thing has modern architecture. which means it has stuff like the DSL AI upscaling for 4K and stuff with the games that'll use it. It has ray tracing capacity, and I think this game is probably using that too to a degree, because although the PS4 version has some pretty cool lighting and stuff effects, it's never as good as the PS5 or the Series X and S, or even this version right here, and definitely not the Switch version. But this one actually has a lot more believable shadows and reflections and even lighting effects that made me go, holy crap. And it just feels a lot better. There's only a few times this game felt not as good, and that was very rare. But to be fair, size-wise, the other versions like the 4 and the 5 and the Series X and S, they're bigger console versions. The 4 literally comes in at over 50 gigs, and the other versions are coming in between 70 to 80 gigs. This one, well, I should say the Switch One version is 17 gigs, but this version is over 23 gigs in size, so it's significantly larger than the older version. But there's more going on here, and I suspect there'll probably be a few um, updates later on for it to do stuff, and there it goes with its screensaver mode. It does that about every 5 minutes. And to be fair, I'm fine with that because it saves my battery and does all kinds of stuff. And look, it's right back in. Um, I will say though is that these guys and even these ones, even though they have you know, motion stuff that they can do, you can actually like move things around. Unlike a PlayStation controller, or in the case of this right here, my PlayStation Portal, I picked this up. Those things go away real quick, and it actually has pretty roughly close to it the same size screen. In all fairness, which is pretty cool. But here's a quick size comparison. That's a Portal versus the Switch 2. But remember, the Switch 2 is a dedicated system. This is still technically a remote play or a Wiimote kind of controller. But the cool thing is, if you do have your cell phone and you can make a Wi-Fi hotspot, you can actually take this out as a actual home gaming console, either directly connected to your system or to Sony's, servers and stuff for those games that are on that cloud stuff. So that's pretty cool. And this one just got done updating stuff. The screens are nearly identical. I actually did measure them. So that's pretty cool. And I did need to update it. It's been a while. But yeah, I'm just impressed. Now, I put these controllers on and they immediately paired. I have a secondary charging unit just for the Joy Cons, so they work very well like that. But what about the functions? Well, believe it or not, every game I've played has been good. I've actually been playing quite a bit in handheld. I've then been putting it on the charger. I've done that. I've done my torture chest, by the way, with Fog Wars here and a bunch of other games. And what I found is like the more intensive the game, even technically some Switch One games, this thing has about a 2 hour lifespan for its battery. So that's important to remember. You can also adjust quite a few settings and stuff, power, what certain other things are. It gets there. It's pretty nice. So yeah, this is actually pretty effective in that regard. Um, and of course, some of the build is actually really nice. So you look here on the back, here's our stand, very similar to what the Switch OLED has, which is this whole piece of metal that comes back off the system. And it also hides and protects the SD micro card right here. It's actually made of metal. It does have some flimsiness. I can actually feel it moving a little bit, but can actually hold the system by it. So it's pretty cool. And it's capable of wide variety of things. There's even little bumpers right here that are made of rubber for smoothness and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And the Joy Cons are also very strong. Let me give you a hint what I mean. Watch this. Yeah, that's right. I'm holding it by a Joy-Con, the whole system with another Joy-Con there. That's how sturdy and effective the magnetic grips on the sucker are. That's how impressive. So yeah, pretty cool. Uh, Yeah, I just love it. Um, Switch One games, though, that's a big surprise, and I think that's going to become very quickly a lot of people sort of like their major thing here because it's going to become pretty popular. People are going to be putting their Switch One games in, seeing how they perform, how they work. I don't doubt that at all. I think it's going to happen quite a bit. I've already been testing them. To give you an idea here, Smash Brothers plays incredibly well, but hold on. I'm just going to get out of this real quick just to give you an idea. And here's some of the games I've been playing. Smash Brothers is in. We have Mortal Kombat 11. That one actually plays extremely well. I bought it digitally. It loads like, hold on, like that. It's just incredibly fast. I still haven't gotten into Cyberpunk yet. The whole game's there though. I just haven't had the time. Street Fighter. I played Bioshock. That is actually surprisingly smooth and incredible. Maneater. That actually reminds me now a lot of the PS4 version of the game. That's how good the Switch version is now. The Switch version had a lot of slowdowns and stuff and a lot of problems, and now it just feels incredibly good. I like playing it in handheld. I still have to do it in TV mode, but what I found is that the frame rate issues went away real quick. It's pretty cool. And you've got your units and stuff. Here's a list of some of my games. I have the GameCube stuff. I haven't gone in there. There's a Star Trek game. Oh, sorry. There's the Lego DC Villains Mario RPG, Future Charles. There's the Dark Pictures Anthology. Hold on, sorry. Man of Medan. There's actually two of these games on the Switch. One, Man of Medan and Little Hope. They're great games too, by the way. There's Fallout Shelter, Choo Choo Charles, Mario Kart World, Doom, and Doom plays incredible. I still haven't, done anything with the tour or Violet yet. I still have to re-download Battleship. So, yeah, there's a lot. And I've already tried a few things. I went on Game Boy and I played Tetris. I was also happy to see that Alleyway is part of the games they include. It's really great. Now, believe it or not, along with this controller, I haven't bothered to do any of the mapping with the back buttons or anything. So there's that. But the fact you can even do that is pretty cool. But not gonna lie, this thing is impressive. But I really feel like uh, we need more games. Now here's some good news. Let's say you're the owner of a couple of games already, like Legends of Zelda's, the original Hogwarts Legacy, or even No Man's Sky. Here's some good news. If you own those previous versions on the Switch 1, whether they're a physical cartridge or online, some of them will give you a free update to the next version of the Switch 2 version, and others will have a $10 conversion to upgrade. In the case of Hogwarts and, uh, you know, uh, Zelda, it's like $10. No, this guy surprised me. It's free. I literally stuck my cartridge in. I was going to try it out, want to see how good it played on the Switch 1, and I was able to get a free upgrade to the Switch 2. Um, they're just shocking. I mean, just shocking how good they are. It's not like that with every game, by the way. You can't do that with Sonic Adventures for some reason. The Sonic Adventures Shadow game, you can't do that there. Sorry. Not everything. The other problem is there are some games that still say this game is still not compatible, and when you go online to the site, it says there are issues. Now the good news is a lot of games that were originally saying this will not play for this reason is now working. Uh, um, for example, Doom Eternal. I have it digitally. I just don't want it on the system right now because I need the space. Um, but that works great. Doom works great. Mortal Kombat 11 works great. If you can put a physical copy, which I don't have right now, of MK1 in, that'll work. However, there are a couple of games that are digital only that I unfortunately cannot get right now because I do not have a physical card, and nobody I think does. Like Warframe, that's a big one. Like, dude, Warframe was great, and it actually is pretty decent on even the Switch One. There's also a couple of other games like this one. This is the Arwing from the Ubisoft game Starlinks, and the Switch version has Star Fox as one of the main characters, believe it or not. But they made it in a way to where they can cut Star Fox out and they still have a functioning game. So I actually have this on Xbox, Switch, and my PS4. Pretty cool. The downside, of course, is the other two systems are still using the older system controllers, but it's pretty cool. I mean, you have an R-Wing here, great design, and look here, there's actual functional parts to it. It's really cool. It's a great design. I mean, look here, all the detail. And if I pull this off, there's Fox. And yes, you can actually see through the cockpit, so you can actually see Fox in there. And then it just links up. Now, the cool thing is, because this is technically a toy to life game, this one actually can function without these toys because it was also sold digitally. So it's cool. You can get packs and stuff. Now, I'm hoping this will work on my Switch too, as well. And just the sheer detail on the R Wing is impressive. Plus, there's the other ships that are the natural thing to the game, too. Oh, so much to do, so little time. Um, there's also the memory card thing. Now, the system storage memory is using a new advanced format, which is actually 800 megabytes versus 100 megabytes. So it's about 7 times faster than the original Switch. Now, in my Switch's case, I have a 242 terabyte card. So it's 240 megabytes versus 100 megabytes for the read speed. So it's actually 100 megabytes fast, 140 megabytes, give or take, faster. So to give you a hint on some games where it would normally be a 2 minute load, I'm in the game in less than 40 to 50 seconds. But on this thing, it'll be like almost instantaneously. And somebody recently did a rundown on a very specific game, and what they found instead of nearly 30 to 40 seconds, they were in a game in 10 seconds. So, yeah, I mean, technically it's SSD speeds. I mean, my PS4 Pro has a SSD I bought for it. It's a 2 terabyte. It was originally made for like laptops before, you know, basically made for laptops, not like the SSDs you buy for like the PS5 and stuff. And it has a 530 speed. So that made a lot of games just run incredibly well. This is faster than that. And that's good. And the good thing is they are bringing out heavier cards too. I mean, GameStop alone has two more options instead of the 128 or 256 gig sticks. They actually have one that's 512 and another one that's over a terabyte. The problem is you're going to pay for them. The 512, it's about $100. The 2 terabyte, just under 200. Still not bad, but it adds another layer of cha-ching that you're not going to like. And frankly, even I get a little pissed at that. And that's the other problem, just the sheer price tag. The controllers, you know, even just buying one replacement for this, unlike the original Switch, like I said earlier, these are still like over $50. Together, it's definitely a better package deal. They come in at around 80 or so. Actually, I think they're higher than that. I think they're like almost $90 because this Pro controller here, which by the way does feel really good. I mean, it's a little surprising how smooth this is versus like the texture going to the original system. It comes in at 84. And of course, Mario Kart World is like $80 by itself. And I got the system at 500, so I actually saved about $30 on that game, even if I don't have a physical copy. Uh, but I'm seeing some good games here. All right, what about balance mode? Do I have any thoughts on that? And the answer is yeah. I think they're going to actually be really impressive. This opens up a whole new possibility, not just for handheld gaming, but also for all kinds of games. You're going to have a lot more people coming in who are normally going to be PC people who are going to see this and be very happy. And you're also going to have people are going to be first person shooters who are like totally with a keyboard and a mouse who can kill you in like 5 seconds flat. And suddenly they're going to have that same ability. That is one hell of an upgrade. And then you have games like The Sims 4. Oh my God. If this thing can get The Sims 4, I will be a happy camper. And not just me, but a lot of other people. And not just The Sims. Also, what about older games that could really use this? For example, the Bioshock collection you saw. We know Cyberpunk already has it, thank God. And people have been like, whoa, this is actually really cool. And then what about Diablo 2, Diablo 3? What about them getting support? And then what if we got Diablo 4 on this? That would be cool. And so many other games. And remember, Final Fantasy VII Remake is still coming. The Tarnished collection for Elden Ring is coming. We already have confirmation that Mortal Kombat, the Legacy collection, is coming to the Switch too. That's great. Um, the backwards compatibility issues are being worked on as we speak. It's really working great. Plus, hopefully, there won't be any more. Hi, I'm going to staple your receipt to the box and hopefully damage your system. Yeah, I hopefully that guy never comes back. He never darkens our skies or our game consoles or puts a freaking staple in my system. Yeah, I would really like that not to happen. Luckily, mine's in one piece. I even just walked in on June 5th to my local GameStop after a grueling day of work and picked it up. Yeah, in the mall. Apparently, the mall didn't want to do a midnight launch. Thank God. That's how I got mine. Um, the biggest concerns right now are battery life. That I torture test 2 hours. That is a problem. Drift is going to be an issue no matter what. Luckily, I have multiple controllers I can do around. I do that same thing with PlayStation. Even this is technically like one of my controllers that I go to for stuff. Um, I am doing the Xbox. The problem is it's all expensive as hell. I mean, I had to pay almost $20 just for this. But the thing is, I know I'm going to lose these straps at some point. Somebody's going to steal them, or I'm going to lose them, and I need these backup straps because they really help with mouse mode. Because guess what? My Switch One versions, I don't know where they are of these things, and they're like an entire little thing you just slap on. I don't know where the heap they are. I can't find them. I hate that. I really hate that, but I can't find them. I don't know where the hell they are. I mean, it's like a pretty big piece of equipment, but because they're so bloody small, they just disappear. And also, my Switch Lite doesn't even need them. Um, there's that. I definitely think it'll get better with time. I think we're going to have a little bit of a rough year, but I do think once Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out, that'll make people happier. More of the third party support games coming out, both old and new coming out, that'll help out. Um, we're also going to see games that you have to remember are truly next gen. Split Faction, even though I'm not really interested in the game, it looks great, and it actually is a more recent game. So there is signs that this system is going to do well. We just have to wait and see what's going to really happen. I mean, it is the best launch so far. And I'm doing this 1 week later. I'm trying to keep this under 25 minutes. But I will recommend it for people who are looking for a good game. Remember, it is dedicated. It does have physical and digital medium. It plays its own stuff. And it's actually that powerful. So it's actually a very good system. It's just right now, it's too expensive. The peripherals are like through the damn roof. I mean, I spent nearly $700 on the system and all of this stuff. Actually, more now that I think about it, because I also picked up a couple of games. Uh, yeah, it's just too expensive right now. Plus, we have to wait another God knows how many months to get more. Like and subscribe, hit the bell for notification, and tell me what you think in the video. And also, are you looking for the wish list? because I am going to do one. See ya. Bye.